What's up, friends and fam, and everybody else in the whole wide world that cares about retro video games? So, way back in the day when I would play games, especially role playing games in particular, I would buy strategy guides, and I love strategy guides to this day. It's something that I collect. I would like to actually get a whole lot more of them. They were way more mandatory back in the day because it was a lot harder to get stuff online. When I was gaming in like the early or the late 90s and early 2000s, there was GameFAQs.com, which you could get on and you could get walkthroughs, but I never particularly liked them. We didn't have like smartphones or tablets or laptops, so you'd have to like pause your game, go to the computer, get on, dial up. you know, it was a shitty process, and then I'd have there's so many walkthroughs on there, and you never knew which were good ones. So I personally just love to have my guide sitting right there, and if I ever got stuck or lost or needed a boss fight strategy, I could do that. They also added a lot to the games for me because they had a lot of story and art, to go along with it. So I just thought I would go through here and point out. I'll just show you guys some of my strategy guides that I really like a whole lot. And I haven't actually been through these in a really long time, so I can't even remember exactly everything that I have. Some of them I just pick up randomly. Most of them I've had for games, and I use them when I need them. So I'm going to start off here. They're in no particular order. We got Final Fantasy VIII, the ultimate guide for the ultimate game. Final Fantasy VII, of course. Duh. Final Fantasy Anthology. This has Final Fantasy 5 and 6 in it. I would never play either of those games on the PlayStation. I like to play them on the Super NES, but the guide is still good to have. Final Fantasy 9. This was the shittiest guide in the world. So I won't belabor this for a long time, but they came out with this thing called Play Online, where so you pay good money for a guide, right? And then you get in there and they tell you a little bit, but then they refer you to an online source and you have to get in and punch in a code. It was so stupid. And so now, of course, the website is gone, so it was so stupid. I don't know why they did that. That was really annoying. Vagrant Story, awesome game, awesome guide. I got that for $5. That was pretty cool. This guide is in really good shape. I would say this is absolutely mandatory for that game, for me at least. Oh, this was cool. So I've actually not even played the original Final Fantasy, but I found this at a store maybe over a year ago, and it was in pretty good shape. Strategy guide, Nintendo Power. I got it for $10, as you can see. Beautiful artwork. When I bought this, I actually just headed straight to a bar and I just sat and I read all about it. It's got a whole bunch of good stuff in here, like about the actual story. So I was actually able to just kind of like read through the story in the original Final Fantasy, which is just so cool. I haven't decided if I'm ever going to go back and play Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 on the NES. 2 and 3 never came out in the US. I don't know how I would play those. I think they have them on the PSP. I'm sure they've come out maybe on the PlayStation. There's ways to play them. But this was so much fun. I just sat at the bar, drank some beers, and read through the original Final Fantasy, got the story, and I just really, man, these super old strategy guides are just cool. This is funny. This has the guy's name, Paul Arlene from Huntington, Pennsylvania. So whoever this dude was, he got his Nintendo Power strategy guide in the mail. I think that's really funny. This guide actually means a lot to me because this is literally the only thing that I own from way back in the day, gaming related. I got rid of every game, I got rid of every guide. This somehow survived. So this is my original guide for Chrono Cross that I had way back in the day. So glad to have it. Just some really cool stuff. There's a good picture of Kid. I played through Chrono Cross recently. It really helps with getting all the characters, the really beautiful, colorful pages, and everything. I just really dig this a lot. It's got some really helpful maps in the back that help you when you're a little lost or you're looking for treasure, wanting to get every little thing. This guide I actually picked up just because it was a Squaresoft RPG. I've never played Saga Frontier, not yet anyways, but I could totally see myself doing it. I really love the PS1 RPGs. Look at that artwork. Isn't that just beautiful? It's just amazing. I freaking love it. I couldn't pass it up. Over 500 full color maps. Can't say no. This I picked up because I actually think this will be helpful to me as I'm playing through NES games. Top secret passwords for the Nintendo. This has so many different games listed inside. You know, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, or Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy, or Xanadu. I think it's Game Boy for Mega Man 2. Anyways, moving on here, my favorite Zelda game, Zelda Majora's Mask. I actually never used this when I played through it. I was just looking shit up online, but really glad to have this. I love this game so much. It's really cool. I actually should probably look through this at some point. Picked up another guide for Super Mario 64. Nice to have. Final Fantasy 12. I used this when I played through the game. This is a pretty hefty guide. It's really, really super thick. That was nice to have. Final Fantasy 10. As you can see, there's a lot of Final Fantasies that I like to have their guides. Stuff is just really cool. I got this for $2. Yeah. 13.2. This really helped for me. I loved 13.2. 13 was like okay. It's not like I hated the game. I really did have fun playing it, but it definitely did not stand out to me as like some incredible, insanely awesome experience. 13.2 was really fun. It was a fun adventure to me, and it was fun like jumping back and forth between the timelines. There was a lot of really fun exploration, I thought. I actually really liked Sarah and Noel, and there were some parts in the story that kind of give you that creep factor, and I honestly liked it. I expect to play this game again sometime. I need to buy a PS3 again. I don't know why I don't have a PS3. Zelda Twilight Princess. This guide is actually where I got this poster that you see on my wall. So I actually got that out of here. It was really hard to do that, to like desecrate this beautiful guide and like take out the poster, but as you can see, the poster hangs prominently and I enjoy it quite a bit, so it was worth it, I do believe. I picked up strategy guide for Zelda Skyward Sword. If they ever release this game on a way that doesn't require motion controls, I'll play it. Otherwise, nope. Lightning Returns. I picked up this game and the guide on launch day, put it in for about 3 hours, and never touched it again. That was the biggest waste of $80 that I can remember spending. So, one more strategy guide for Lunar, Silver Star Story Complete. This is an interesting one, you know, it's like small, it's kind of like a book, actually. But, yeah, it looks really cool. I'm looking forward to using this while I go through the game. A lot of the times with strategy guides, like, I don't really use them as I'm playing unless I get stuck, or they're really nice for side quests, you know, kind of like the extra things that you might miss. And also sometimes like boss strategies, it's really nice to like, you know, glance over a good boss strategy just to, you know, not get surprised by something that'll absolutely screw you up when you get into it. You guys know how it is. Alright, so that's my strategy guide collection. Peace.